is such a hot topic for us moms. 9 times out of 10, when I ask moms what their biggest struggle is right now, they tell me time. Not having enough time for themselves or to fit exercise into their busy mom schedule. So that's exactly why I wanted to come on today and do this training with you guys. And it is so true. It is so validated because being a mom is a busy life. You are spending most of your time prioritizing other people's needs before your own. You know, you're making food, dinner, cleaning up after everyone, making sure the household runs smoothly, playing I don't know how many different roles. You're a mother, you're a wife, you're a sister, you're a daughter, you're a caregiver, you're a cleaner, let alone you have a day job, some of you even own your own business. Hi John, thanks for popping on. So when somebody turns to you and says, hey, when's the last time you exercised? Or what have you been doing for exercise? You just look at them and go, exercise? Ain't nobody got time for that. If you can relate, give me a hands up in the comments below. Now, today I'm going to be giving you some tough love when it comes to time. But before I do that, I'm going to, first of all, introduce myself for those of you that don't know me, and second of all, tell you a story so that you know where I'm coming from when I do give you the tough love. So, for those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Jacqueline Strumpel. I help new moms lose the pregnancy weight and feel more like themselves again without having to go out and buy a fancy gym membership, without having to create recipes with ingredients that you've never heard of before, and most importantly, without having to feel guilty for taking some of that time to work on yourself. So my story starts at the 6-month postpartum mark. And that is the time where I decided to go back to work. And in hindsight, it was the worst mistake I ever made, you know, but you don't know that when you first make a decision. And before that happened, I had created lots of amazing healthy habits in my life. I had started exercising again. As you know, I fit back into my pre-pregnancy clothes at 4 months already, and I was eating healthy, and I had really good routines in place. And they all went out the window when I started back at work. It was a whole new dynamic and such a difficult time to navigate because, first of all, you have the mom guilt for going back to work when you feel like, should I be at home with my daughter and not have gone back to work? Was that a selfish thing on my part? And you have lots of different feelings and emotions still going on, hormones still pumping through your system. And definitely time was a huge stressful factor in my life at that time. It made me completely anxious and overwhelmed. I let time get the better of me. I let it control me. And literally, this is how I felt when I was in the moment. I would get up at the crack of dawn, 5 a.m., get myself ready, wake my daughter up if she wasn't up already, make sure that she had her morning feed. Then I would wake my husband up so he could look after her until the nanny came, drive to work, work all day, come home, relieve the nanny, spend amazing time with my daughter, go through the whole bedtime routine, cooking, getting ready for the next day. You know, by the time bedtime routine was finished, I was completely exhausted and couldn't muster up the energy to even think about working out. All I wanted to do was sit on my bed and vegetate, you know, completely turn inward on myself, watch some mind-numbing TV, and fall asleep. Sometimes I was so exhausted that I couldn't even, you know, have a shower. It sounds awful, but I was just like so tired that I was like, no, I just can't face having a shower right now. And, you know, again, let me know in the comments below if you can relate to any of that story, and it'd be really nice to know. And the thing is this went on and on and on, and already you can see where I went wrong. Instead of using that time in the evening to really, you know, do something positive for myself, I instead, you know, scrolled on Facebook or Instagram, watched Netflix, and then passed out. And it got to the point where it started to affect my health because I wasn't doing anything for myself. I kept telling myself, you know, I don't have enough time. I really do not have enough time because I didn't. I was so busy and I had every right to be exhausted as you do. But the problem is it started to affect my health. And I was beginning to be so anxious. I mean, there was other dynamic going on at work. It was a really unhealthy situation for me to be in. It was toxic and I had to get out of there. And I had at this point already handed in my notice. But I started to get like physically ill. There was like over a handful of times where I was really sick. Like I'm talking about throwing up. And because I was so anxious and such a ball of nerves that I was physically feeling nauseous. And I started to get extremely bad eczema. I have sensitive skin already, but the eczema was so bad. I mean, it was all on my, as you can see, it's cleared up completely now, but it was all on my wrists and my hands, the back of my knees, the in part of my elbow. I mean, it looked like I had burns on my body. And all this because I didn't make it a promise to myself or a priority to myself that I'm going to use some of that time when I get home in the evenings to work on myself, whether it's meditation or exercise or whatever it is. And this is where my tough love is coming in. We all have the same amount of time in the day. We all have 24 hours in the day. You do have time to exercise, especially if you've decided that it's really important for you to lose the pregnancy weight and fit back into your pre-pregnancy clothes and feel more like yourself again. If that is what you want and you've made that commitment and that promise to yourself, then you definitely need to prioritize working movement into your daily routine. And if I had done that, I would have still quit my job, but I would have been in a much better place mentally and physically for it. I mean, we all know the benefits of exercise. I'm not going to go through that. You know, by now, this day and age, everybody does know. So today I wanted to come on and give you some 4 actionable steps, because it's all well and good me sitting up here giving you tough love, saying you do have enough time. You just need to go and make it a priority. You know, maybe you want to smack me in the face for saying that, but it's true. But I'm not just going to leave you there. I want to give you 4 ways that maybe you can start to see where you can fit it into your daily routine. So my first tip is to start slow. It doesn't have to be this huge thing where you have to drive to the gym and go to the gym and sweat your little tush off. It doesn't have to be a chore. Just start slow. When I first started exercising again, I went for a 10-minute walk. I honestly really started slow because I was like adverse to it. Even though I love exercise, it's like I hadn't done it in so long. I was just like, not sure if I really want to do this. So start slow. There's got to be 10 minutes in your day somewhere that you can fit in some kind of movement, okay? It doesn't have to be this jumping up and down, hot flash, sweating, you know, thing where the next day you're so sore that you never want to exercise again. Where can you fit in 10 minutes to just go for a walk? And then slowly build it up from there. As you start to get used to it, as it starts to become a daily habit and a daily routine, then you can start to level it up a little bit. Tip number 2 is to be flexible. So although I know some of you mums have already signed up for my free 5-day email course to get your postpartum fitness formula, in there it's a very structured plan, what to do first, second, third, etc. And each exercise routine is also designed that way as well. But it doesn't mean you have to follow it that way, okay? Be flexible with it, because everybody's life and everybody's daily routine is completely unique to anybody else. So only you know where you have space for that in the day. Be flexible with it. maybe, if it's going to be leg day, it doesn't necessarily have to be those exact same exercises in the exact same order that I gave you. Just do a quick leg workout. Maybe set the timer for 10 minutes, work out legs in whatever way possible, and that's it. And that's all it needs to be. The other way to be flexible is, think about how can you incorporate working out with your kids, depending on what age they are. If they're a complete newborn, you can put them on your play mat and, do exercises with them. You can do, push-ups, going right down to them, give them a little kiss when you get down and come back up again. There's lots of different ways that you can incorporate working out with your baby or your kids, depending on how old they are, at home. Teach them how to squat if they're old enough. Teach them a correct formation. Make it fun. Make it a huge, big deal. Go for a walk together. And again, if your baby's a newborn, this is how I started. I went out for daily walks. I put my baby in the pram and made a concerted effort. I started, like I said, with 10 minutes, worked my way up to 30 and then an hour. And then, when I was really in the fat burning zone, I was 30 minutes one day, an hour the next day, 30 minutes, an hour. And I also had my dog with me. So it wasn't easy, but if you have decided to make it a priority, then these are some of the ways that you can start to incorporate it into your life without it feeling like a chore or this whole added thing to your daily routine. Another thing you can do is be flexible with the time that you're doing it. Could you wake up 10 minutes earlier and do a 10-minute workout? Or could you maybe, when you put the kids down for a nap, instead of getting right into the household chores, or maybe you also work from home, instead of getting right into the work, can you take a quick 10 minutes, do a short burst of exercise before you start all that stuff? Again, at the end of the day, when the kids are already asleep, depending on how old they are, maybe you have time, a 10-minute time there to fit in some exercise. There's always a way to fit it in. So that leads me right into my third tip, which is, if you're here and you're listening this far, then I know you are committed to losing the pregnancy weight. And I know you want to do this. So make a promise to yourself right now that you're going to make it a priority. Promise yourself. Say, actually, I deserve to stop feeling miserable about myself and start feeling more like my happy-go-lucky self again. Actually, my kids deserve to see the real me because I'm pretty awesome. Make that promise to yourself that you are going to make it a priority. And then go back to step 2 and think about where can you fit it in. My last tip is about support, and not in the way that you think. Really be flexible with your thinking here. This can be a touchy topic for some people, not so much for myself. So think about some of those things that you're doing at home. I don't know what kind of chores you do around the house. Maybe you mow the lawn, maybe you shovel the driveway in the winter, maybe you're the one that takes out the garbage or does the laundry, or maybe you do all of it. Can you pay somebody to do one of those things? Just to free up some of your time so that you can use that time to then work on yourself and possibly fit exercise into your routine if that is something that's a priority to you. Just something to think about. We have a cleaner who comes in twice a week. We don't need her twice a week, but we just know her really well, so we want to help her out. But maybe for you, you just need someone once a month or once every 2 weeks is going to help you. Just pay someone to do your laundry or something, so you just free up some of that time. So those are my 4 tips for how you can fit exercise into your already busy schedule. Sorry for those of you, I was supposed to go live on my page, but I don't know what's going on with my phone. For some reason, it doesn't recognize that that's my page, so I wasn't able to go live, so I just popped in here in the group. I'm gonna share it over to the page afterwards. But what I really wanted to say is, if you are here, then you definitely want to make exercise a priority in your life. You want to lose that pregnancy weight. You want to feel more like yourself again. You're not sure how or when or what. Then you're definitely going to want to sign up in the link above this video or below, depending on where you're watching from, to get my free 5-day email course. It's a postpartum fitness formula. It's the exact exercise program that I put myself through when I wanted to lose the pregnancy weight and feel more like myself again. And I was able to fit back into my clothes at 4 months postpartum. And the other thing is it gives you a plan for what to do first, second, third, etc. if you haven't started exercising again. It also gives you the point to start if you have, you know, if you're a little bit more of an intermediate, where you can start. And by the end of the 5 days, you have a 3 to 4 month exercise plan that you can follow. So if that sounds like something that you're like, hell yeah, yes please, then go ahead to the link above this video or below, like I said, depending where you're watching from, and sign up. That is all for today from me. I look forward to speaking to you again about exercise next week. And until then, take care of yourself, mama. Bye.